The need for data security touches every aspect of our lives. Our medical care, our finances, where we shop, how our favorite products are made, and even the entities that govern our respective regions of the world. The business information, intellectual property, continuous flow of operations, and the ability to work from anywhere that we rely on every day are all built on a foundation of Citrix technology and its integrated holistic approach to app and data security.
It was not too long ago, I was reading this fascinating book called as The Inevitable. This book is authored by one of the visionaries and futurists called as, his name is Kevin Kelly, and it really delves into the technological forces and trends that are shaping up our world, especially in the next 2 or 3 decades. I think we are living in an interesting world. The reason I call it interesting is, as much as the automation powered by artificial intelligence and other technology, I think we have heard a lot of that in Zinnov, are going to change the way we work, is going to change a lot of the way the jobs are done in the future, but it also comes with a positive spin. It also comes with a promise that new kinds of jobs are going to emerge, something that we have not even thought of today. And one of the jobs that I'm very fascinated about is that of a futurist. Now, I do believe that all of us, within all of us, there is a bit of a futurist that, futurist we always refer to kind of help us try and make sense of what's happening around us and figure out our response. And if I ask you to wear that futurist hat for a moment, and I don't think it will take long for you to predict, that for both enterprise and consumer worlds alike, the world is headed towards a massive, massive digital disruption. Even Kevin Kelly talks about in this book that the world is moving away from the world of fixed nouns to the world of fluid verbs. What he means is in the next 30 years, everything solid that we know today is going to have a digital twin, is going to have something that can be expressed in a fluid verbs. What he means is all the products that we have today are going to be services and processes. Take automobile, for instance. Automobile is going to be turning into transportation service when all the pieces that builds the ecosystem are going to come together and give it a shape that will shape the future. So what is driving all this? Of all the technologies that have shaped our industry in the last 10, 15 years, no doubt, in my mind, no doubt, cloud is number one enabler. You talk about big data analytics, you talk about mobility, you talk about Internet of Things, any emerging technology, the kind of pace and maturity these technologies have received has been augmented by cloud. And as the world reaps the benefit of these technologies, as the world gets better with these technologies, we should also keep in mind that technologies come with a pitfall. There is always a flip side to technology. And the flip side that I'm going to talk about is that world is under tremendous virtual attack. You talk about ransomware, you talk about malware, you talk about zero-day exploits, you talk about botnets, advanced phishing. You talk about any of these attacks. If you've heard of any of these terms, then welcome to the new normal of cybersecurity. If I ask you to place that hat of a futurist one more time and request you to predict the future of cybersecurity, I don't think it is as difficult as most of you will be thinking it to be. The reason is, the future of cybersecurity is there is going to be next attack. There is that hacker who is waiting to barge into your system and compromise your security. And within Citrix, we do a lot of study around organization and our ecosystem, trying to figure out what's happening around and build our worldview around it. And some of the data that I show from the study, it only reveals that cybersecurity is one of the topmost item in the minds of most of the executives right now. And in this context, when we think of probable security 2.0 scenario, there are a lot more considerations that come into picture than only designing a response to all the innovative threats which are coming. in designing the security models of the future. I would like to take a moment and talk about a couple of those considerations. One of the studies that we did with Ponemon Institute early this year revealed something very interesting. The findings of it was that current generation of workforce, the current people who are part of the economy, there are really 3 generations of different people at play. First of which is digital natives. These are the people who are born with technology. These are the people who don't know how the world existed before technology came into being. And these form majority of population, around 50% as we found out. And other participants in the economy are today the people who are born before the digital natives, or what we call millennials, like Gen Xers and also baby boomers, right? And you might be wondering, what does all this have to do with the talk of security? It is often said that any technological solution is as strong as its weakest link. And in most cases, the weakest link happen to be the users. There is that user who first click on any objectionable material which propagates the attacks like what we saw in the recent times. So even our study revealed that digital natives are responsible for security risk related to getting any device, any kind of applications into the workplace. Whereas the people who are born in the previous generation, they are more susceptible to attacks like social engineering attacks and phishing and so on and so forth. So when we are designing the security models of the future, we got to be taking into account the diverse generational user base that we have in our workforce today. Not only this, our regulatory environment around security is tightening up by the day. One of the, this time next year, GDPR, which is the regulatory regulation which is going to be enforced in European Union company who deals with the EU customers, that is going to be put in place. And that is, you may think that there are so many regulations which is there, but this is different. A lot of companies are looking at data protection regulation which is being put in European Union with a lot of interest because it put a lot of onus onto organization to maintain security. And the way it enforces accountability is to put unimaginable fines. I think we have not heard of, as per GDPR, the maximum fine the organizations are liable for misusing the data or even compromising the security is 4% of the revenue of the organization. I'm not talking about 4% of profit, it is 4% of revenue. And that tells us, security 2.0 scenario, we got to be building security models that are really protecting organizations, really making sure that there are no breaches even by mistake. And when we talk about the organizational context, the enterprise context, right, we are really at the intersection of applications and the users. When I started working, I was really at the bottom left quadrant of this bottom left quadrant of this image. So what it says is that applications in the older times was all IT managed, and users always used to sit in the branch and headquarters. And IT, they build the network security architectures in a way. You can call it DMZ or series of firewall functions around the organization built on the principles of inaccessibility and invisibility, which means that intruders from outside cannot have any idea about the network that you are part of or all the contents which are there. So this worked reasonably well in the older times. Now if you compare today's times, we talked about digital natives, people are bringing their own devices to work. BYOD is on the rise. People are bringing their own applications to work. There are SaaS-based applications, there are cloud-based applications, there are mobility applications which are there. And what it means from security context is you're really moving away from the castle that you built. The applications are moving away from it, and it is really causing concern for the IT worldwide. And not only this, users are no longer sitting in the branch and headquarters, they are roaming all the time. We have people who want to work from any time, have all kind of access they need to get the work done. And as we say in Citrix, work is not a place. Work is not a place. It is, it is a thing we do. It is an activity do in a place where we find inspiration, right? And in this complex world where applications are, really, there is a cloud sprawl which is happening. Applications are going people are bringing in all kind of applications and using it from anywhere possible. Traditional enterprise hard perimeter, the castle that we talked about that IT had built, it is fast disappearing. So what is the solution? How can we solve this problem that we are faced with? At this stage, I'd like to very humbly talk about a little bit about the Citrix Secure Digital Workspace. So Citrix Secure Digital Workspace really takes into account all the foundation which is laid by the strong Citrix products, like Zen family of products, and we have NetScaler Sharefile, and really enable this workspace which can be used irrespective of your location. It is deployed at any place you want it to be, and it takes care of the unique needs of the users who wants contextual access and adaptable access, and also the IT to maintain the security and regulation by bringing in a new kind of parameter which we called as software defined parameter. And I would like to, in case you have not been able to gotten a chance to see the booth, please do visit. We are demonstrating some of the important element of this workspace and how it is shaping the future of work. This is something that we in Citrix live for every day, to create a beautiful and secure feature of work every day. As I come to my end of the talk, I'd like to thank all of you for being a wonderful audience, and there are great topics lined up and great speakers, and have a good time. Thank you.